Hello. Getting everything pulled up here. I do not see it popping up yet. On LinkedIn. There we go. Okay. Got it on. Everything pulled up here. Oops. Had my sound on. Okay. Let me know when you guys are with me. Just getting everything situated here. Happy Thursday. Hi, Sumate. How are ya? Okay, looks like we are good to go. So when you guys are on, let me know in the comments that you guys are here with me. Okay. Perfect. How's everyone doing today? Thanks for joining me and happy Thursday. Hey, Shell. How are you? Thanks so much for hopping on. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about LinkedIn content. I know we talked briefly about that last week, and I had some questions and requests. Hey, Will. Thanks for hopping on. I am so glad you are having a great Thursday. Okay. Hey, Rich, on the Facebook front. So it looks like we are good to go. So let me know in the comments on LinkedIn. So this is the last week for, exactly, Shell, you read my mind. I was just gonna say, this is the last Thursday of the month, which means the last opportunity you have to win a free LinkedIn mini makeover from my team at ModGirl, just for joining these lives. So all you have to do is join me on the LinkedIn front and comment on these lives to be entered to win the mini makeover. And then next week we will be drawing, and then I will let you know who the winner is at that time. So all you have to do is comment, and once a month we will be drawing a name by random to win the mini LinkedIn makeover, which is essentially just myself and my team giving you some tips on how to optimize your headline, some ideas, customized ideas on new headlines, new summary, in high level, what you should be doing on your LinkedIn profile to optimize it and stand out more and attract prospects and partners. So stay tuned for that next week. I will be announcing that. And again, all you have to do is comment and engage throughout, and you will be entered to win. So last week, we talked about LinkedIn, and some questions on content came up. So what types of content should y'all be posting? What does that look like? And so today I wanted to spend a little bit of time discussing content marketing for your business. And while we are focused on the LinkedIn front, and that's what I will be talking about, these tips that I'm giving you really can be applied to multiple networks. So before I get into that though, I wanted to point out my shirt that I am wearing right now to represent my ladies. Just wanted to show that. Futures female. Because you can't see it. You can't see it unless I back up really far like that. So just wanted to give it a little bit of love. Okay, so today I want to talk about, the content piece, but before, it's interesting because a lot of people think that they just, need content. And so they are so excited and they want it so bad that they don't really pay attention to everything that goes into content when it comes to strategizing and knowing your target market and everything that needs to be done before you start creating content. Hey, Hugh. Hope your Thursday is going well. Indeed, mine is too. So let's get into first about what is needed. So first and foremost, before you guys start creating content, and so we talked about, backing up a little bit, how to build your thought leadership is multi-prong. And, while you're building connections with relevant prospects on LinkedIn and starting relationships with them, you also have to be building your content as well. So with that said, you have to know who you're targeting. The target audience is key. Otherwise, you're just going to waste your time doing too broad of a target market when it comes to your content. So you guys have to know who you're going after in terms of the target market. So where do they hang out? What are their pain points, right? So all of those things, what language do they speak? What keeps them up at night? What are their goals when it comes to what you do? And so once you know that, then you can start trying to frame content around that. But you really need to know who you're targeting, or your content's going to be too broad, and then it's not going to resonate with your specific target market. So this is a lot of times I see this mistake from several companies is it's just too broad. Their content is too broad. So first and foremost, you guys need to know exactly who you're going after and what they look like when it comes to demographics. So what is their job title? What is their age? How long have they been doing this for? Again, what are their pain points? Where do they hang out? What blogs do they read? All those things are important, and that's why it's very beneficial to have those buyer personas before you start creating content. So creating those like Sally Sue's and Johnny Smith's, right? Where it's like an actual person and their particular traits and whatnot. So that helps when you are creating this type of content. But before we get into the whole, funnel, if you will, of awareness and then the interest and then the decision and then the action part, right? So it's kind of like the funnel of inbound marketing, if you will, which is similar to content and in different phases. So people are just researching, and that's the awareness standpoint. And then they might express interest. So what do you give them then? And so there's multiple phases. But what's interesting with LinkedIn and really any network is it all depends on who your connections are and what types of content they like, and then where they're at in the buyer cycle. But you also have to pay attention to the algorithms too and what they like. So a few weeks ago, I told you guys about LinkedIn's new algorithm, which was the dwell time, right? So that was part of their new algorithm is dwell time. And dwell time is basically how long people spend on your post. So historically, and it still matters, comments are key, right? So likes are great, but really comments are what pushes your post back up in the feed for people to see. Now, historically on LinkedIn, comments have been pretty much everything. Like that is what gets you the views and the awareness and the algorithms to keep bumping your post up so your viewers or your connections see it in their feed and it doesn't just get lost. Well, now we have to think about dwell time. It's not just comments. So LinkedIn wants to know, is this quality content that's being posted here? And if so, they're going to reward you for that. And so they pay attention to this dwell time, which is how long people are spending on your content. And so we've been testing this out a little bit, and I wanted to kind of give you some insights onto what we've been finding on the posts that we're doing on LinkedIn. And then I'll get into giving you guys some tips on what types of content to post. Jonas says, any input on when to rephrase from other thought leadership personas and when to deliver one's own content? Jonas, are you talking about like when to like share other thought leaders posts or Let me know exactly what you mean there, and I'll help answer that question. Like sharing them and then offering your thoughts, or delivering your own content. And then we'll come back to that. So going back to the dwell time situation, we talked about this last week about videos, right? So if you guys remember, if you were with me last week, I was talking about how I love the power of video and how it really humanizes a brand, and people get to know you and people feel like they know you just from watching you on video, and how key video is, and how you can even do screencast recordings if you're camera shy so people hear your voice, and really just the power of being real and feeling like people are meeting you in person, right? So getting that same effect of meeting someone in person, and that's what video does. So you get to learn a person and you feel like you know them from video, like I do every week with you guys. With that said, we talked about how big of a pain in the ass video is, right? And how much time it takes, not specifically these lives, because aside from getting ready for you guys, I just hit the live and here I am talking. So I don't have to do all the post-production and the editing and whatnot, which I do on my individual video post, which you guys have seen, and that's what I want to tell you guys about. So we were talking last week, and a couple of you were like, yeah, it's a lot of work, right? Editing the videos and then the subtitles, and it's no joke. And I agree completely, because I do the same thing. So I'll go back and I'll watch my LinkedIn lives, and I haven't done this, I don't do this every single day, every single Thursday, because I have a backlog of them. But I go and I take out snippets of what I think you guys would like, and then I have my video guy, do his thing. So it's a long process. It takes me, 10 times longer to do a video that I post on LinkedIn, a video snippet, not these lives, again, just a video snippet that you guys have been seeing on my LinkedIn, than it does for me to throw up a picture with a post. And what's interesting is my videos historically have been lower performing than my regular posts, where either it's just a picture of me or just a post in general, a text post. My videos always get fewer views than my regular post. And what's interesting is ever since the dwell time launched, they get even fewer views. And so we're gonna test and tweak some things, because we've been, okay, got it, Jonas. I will answer that here in a second. So we're gonna try some new things where we just maybe do a teaser in the beginning, because I like to post content with the video. So I think a lot of people are just reading and not watching the video, and LinkedIn is picking up on that. And so my views with my video are way fewer than like a picture of me, which is interesting because LinkedIn is all about video, right? And so there's so many factors involved, and this is why testing is key. So I'm sharing this with you guys, and I get on these, Thursday lives with you every week and share my insights and my tips. But that's why testing is so key, and that's why you guys have got to get out there and start posting your own content and doing things so you can see what's happening, and then you can optimize accordingly for your particular audience, because everyone is so different. So I'm sharing with you guys what's happening to me and our clients and best practices to help you. But then, there's nothing like actual work and doing it and experiencing it for yourself and seeing what works. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's interesting and so we're gonna test a few different things out on the video front, probably next week. But if it continues to perform poorly, I am probably not going to post as many video clips on LinkedIn, because my other posts get significantly more views and I go live every Thursday. I'm sharing this with you guys because I still have this video element of me going live every week that people can see still on my LinkedIn and join me like you guys are. So if you're not doing this, I still think you need to be doing video, but it's one of those things where you have to test and tweak and you have to figure out what works for you. So a lot of influencers put a lot of text with the video, with the post, and I'm going to stop doing that because obviously people are reading it, but they might not be watching the video. So it's just a constant game of seeing what works and what doesn't and testing and tweaking. Now, going back to what types of content to post, this is also interesting. So myself and a couple of my Remote Agency Society members also have been seeing this. Personal posts on LinkedIn right now are outperforming educational posts for me and for others. So for example, I had an Instagram post last week where it was a picture and a question about Instagram that outperformed my posts in the last few weeks, right? And so some of my Monday motivational posts outperform like my LinkedIn tips. It just depends. But this is why diversification of content is so important. And again, that human element and that humanized approach that I talk about, people love that and they're craving that. And that's why the personal posts do so well. And when I say personal, it can be a personal story. It can be your why. It can be a lesson that you learned. It can be a quote, one of your favorite quotes and why you like it. It can be a picture of you on the weekend hiking or whatever it is. But mixing in those personal posts with educational posts is really important because, again, it shows the human side of you and people also love them. As we can tell from the data from myself and from others doing the same thing. So I don't want you guys to get in the habit of thinking that your posts have to be either promo-y for your company where it's all just like me, hire us, or it has to be 100% educational and you have to give away tons of, free info and valuable tips related to your industry. Yeah, that's great, but you need to mix it up. And sometimes the most simple posts, like a quote, can go a really long way and blow up. And it's something that you never would have thought would have been popular. Like, for example, maybe you spend like 2 minutes on this post and it's super short and it's personal. And then you spend, 30 minutes to an hour on this other post. And then you'll find that the one that you hardly spent any time on is the one that blew up versus the one you spent time on. This is why testing is so key. And this is why you guys need to be diversifying your content and posting different types of content. And that brings me to what I'm gonna share now, which is the types of content to post, right? So an idea for you guys, kind of like what Jonas said, is to look at what others are doing in the space, influencers. So what I do is when I'm browsing LinkedIn, there's that little save button on the side of LinkedIn on the desktop version where you can save posts and it'll bookmark them for you. Facebook has this too. So every time I'm on LinkedIn, if I see a post I like, I will bookmark it. And most of the time it's from influencers or micro influencers. And then when I need content ideas, I'll go back and I'll look at what those people said. And I might take tidbits from what they said and make them my own. So Jonas, to answer your question, I personally, so Jonas asked, is it better to, share other influencers' content, or should I just share my own? So is it better to share influencers' content and maybe say what your thoughts are about it versus just my own content? And I like a combination of both, but if I'm going to be honest, I like doing my own content. But you can certainly leverage the thoughts from other influencers without stealing their thoughts, obviously, right? But just to get your brain coming up with ideas. So Jonas, to build your own thought leadership, you definitely need to have the majority of your own thoughts, but you can still share from other influencers now and then. I just wouldn't make it a part of your core strategy. Does that make sense, Jonas? So I would still leverage them and their thoughts and their ideas. And if you feel like one is really great and you want to share it and comment on it, by all means do that. But for the majority of the situation, you should just be looking at what they're doing and then coming up with your own content and ideas for people to learn from, okay? So when it comes to the types of content that you can come up with, you need to, personal pictures do really well. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Anytime you can get a personal picture, if it's you or your team or you with your family, even maybe in one where it's a story, you doing something outdoors, hiking, a hobby, you at your computer, whatever it is, you need to mix that into your content, those personal pictures. That really, really helps, especially when you're building your thought leadership on LinkedIn. Telling that hero's story is also beneficial. So what does that story look like? So telling a story about your client, put a picture of your client even, or a picture of your customer's team, okay? And tell their story. So storytelling does really, really well. And then focusing on a win that maybe you guys achieved, like a work win or a win for your client. All of those things work well. And that's something that you can apply a personal picture with, okay? So going back to some topics of what you guys can post about, I said this earlier when it comes to mixing in personal content with valuable content, something that inspires you. So if I'm on Twitter and I see a quote I really like, I will screenshot it, or anything. I screenshot a lot on my phone, and I'll go back and I'll look at my screenshot. So anything you come across that you feel like, ooh, you know, this could be good to share content with, I will pin that, and then I'll go back and I'll look at it, and it'll get my juices flowing, my creative juices flowing, where I can come up with something on my own based on that inspiration that was given to me, if you will. So another thing is, what about frequently asked questions that you guys get from clients? So what questions do you hear customers asking you? What are customers asking your sales team? So the FAQ is a perfect example of what you can post about when it comes to content. Now, I was on a call yesterday, and we were talking about controversial posts and topics, right? So I'm streaming right now on LinkedIn, and I'm also streaming on Facebook and YouTube, actually. Facebook has a lot more controversial posts than LinkedIn, but I still see LinkedIn talking about political things as well. And people posting, this isn't Facebook, right? And then you have Facebook, and then you have Twitter, which is a whole other ballgame. And so the question I got was, what's the line between posting, collaborative, like uplifting, positive, valuable content versus controversial content, which gets lots and lots of views? And so I'm curious on you guys in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on posting controversial topics when it comes to you as a business person. Okay, so your professional social media account on LinkedIn, what are your thoughts of posting controversial content? Here's my thoughts. I told this individual, while controversial topics can pick up a lot of steam and go viral, that's not the type of attention that I want, or I want my clients having. And so we focus on thought-provoking content to get attention. So asking questions that are thought-provoking, where you're just kind of teeter-tottering on that edge, but it's not necessarily controversial where people are going to go crazy or see you as like one side or the other. So I'm about, thought-provoking content that gets people thinking and their wheels turning to where they can start the dialogue, and maybe it'll get some people hyped up, if it's a certain topic, but they'll leave comments and they'll start engaging that way. So I personally do not recommend going the controversial route when it comes to even politics or anything controversial when it comes to your business life, okay? Your professional LinkedIn profile, because that should be used for business, not uber controversial topics or politics. With that said, you can still get creative and talk about current events to get people thinking, and just, again, thought-provoking questions to elicit responses, okay? Will said, no controversial post, you will alienate half of your potential customers. Exactly. Adrian says, is there a way to show leadership expertise without showing yourself? Is it okay to use someone else as the face of your brand business? What are your thoughts? So Adrian, someone needs to be the face of your business. Yes, my answer is yes. You can certainly use someone else as the face of your brand business. Let's say you're the CEO and you're the founder, but you don't like being in front of an audience or the camera, and you have someone else on your team that would be willing to do that, and then by all means you can do that. But in order to humanize a brand, you need to have at least one person being the face and sharing some sort of personal type posts and pictures of them, okay? If you're going to build your thought leadership on LinkedIn. Someone has to be doing video, or should be doing videos or posts or pictures or something to show that humanized element, but it doesn't necessarily have to be you. If you have someone else on your team that can do that, by all means, go for it. But someone needs to be doing it. So the first question you asked, is there a way to show leadership and expertise without showing yourself? Yes, but you have to show someone, right? So that's my answer. There has to be some sort of human element behind the brand, whether that is your entire team or one person or you. It needs to be someone. So another thing that works well, you guys, are lists. okay? So like a top 10 list or steps. So 5 steps to XYZ. Those work really, really well on LinkedIn and Facebook groups too. So this would be a valuable post that you would be sharing with your content audience to help them in some capacity, but at the same time also showcase your expertise in what you do. So for example, 5 ways to optimize your LinkedIn profile to 10x your profile views. That could be something that I would do. And then I would list off step 1, headline, step 2, this, and I would go down the list, okay? So those work really well. It also, how to do certain things. So telling people, step 1, go here. Step 2, go here, okay? So certain things like that where you're giving specific information to people also works really well. Starting off with a hook is key too, you guys. So again, how to get your content seen and get people engaging is that initial hook. So a lot of times they call this broetry, where they kind of lead into like a personal story. They're like, oh, it was 5 a.m. and my alarm went off 14 times. I didn't want to get out of bed. That's a really horrible example, but you know what I'm saying? Kind of like that hook of like, where are they going with this? And what is this? And it's kind of intriguing, right? That's just one random example. It could be anything. It could be like one of mine posts that did really well was 99% of LinkedIn profiles suck. That was the very first sentence. And that was like one of my better posts that I've done on LinkedIn, because it was like, whoa, talk about thought provoking or like catching you off guard, right? So that first initial hook is so important. So you guys need to focus on that too with your content. Otherwise people aren't going to want to read it. Okay. So I wanted to point that out too before I go on here. So another one is talk about what happens if your customers don't do anything. So what happens if your customers don't make a move, if you will? So think about your customers and why they hire you. And then think about your prospects. What if they didn't do anything at all? So what if they didn't hire you or your competitors? What would happen? Talk about that. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm actually working, you guys, I'm working on a list. You can tell me in the comments if you would find this helpful and if you would want this. So I am working on an internal document for my team on how to write epic LinkedIn posts that get engagement. And I've started it and I'm giving examples and I'm kind of going over this, what I am with you, but it's a lot more in depth. Would you guys find this helpful? Comment yes if you would. And Chris said that made my day. Glad you enjoyed it. Plenty more where that came from, Chris. Would you guys find this helpful? How to write epic LinkedIn posts that get engagement. A guide, if I showed this to you. I'm creating it for my internal team. I might turn it into like a freemium, maybe like $7. I might give it away for free. I don't know. But let me know if you guys would find that helpful, because there's never enough time on these LinkedIn Lives for me to go into all of this. And I know I'm just like bam, bam, bam with you guys and sharing as much as I possibly can. But there's so much that goes into the content side of LinkedIn, and it does matter. And there is a science and a craft to this to make sure that you guys are posting content that people want and you're coming across genuine and not salesy, right? And you're not pitching in every single post too. It is awesome to have call to actions that are varied within posts, but you don't have to be pitching in every post. Okay, so I got it. Of course, yes, please. Okay, got it. I'll see what I can do for you guys. Before I go, I'm gonna leave you with this, the call to action side of things, because this is important. So with myself and my clients, we vary up our call to actions. For example, some might not have any. Some are click the link in the comments. I've told you guys this before, never put links in the LinkedIn posts themselves. LinkedIn does not like links, external links, third-party links. So if you're gonna post a link, post it in the comments. So I know a lot of you guys like share blog posts from your own blog or your own site. It's better to repost those on LinkedIn as an article and then link to your site. Or it's better to put a blurb about it and then put the link in the comments and say the link is in the comments. Click, if you want to read the full blog post, click the link in the comments, okay? That's a call to action. Other call to actions, send me a quick message here on LinkedIn and we'll see how we can XYZ or help you with XYZ, right? Send me a quick message on LinkedIn is another one. Click the link in the comments to download the free checklist, whatever it is. So vary up your call to actions as well and make it easy for people, but don't put links in the posts themselves. Okay, and your every post doesn't have to have a call to action. I think I made a video about this last week. I posted, I think, a couple weeks ago, about how not every post needs to have a call to action. Some are just beneficial, just to show, again, that thought leadership aspect of where you're coming from and showcasing you as a leader and someone who knows their stuff, right? And that goes a long way. You said, yes, a list would be great. Okay, awesome. So I will work on that for you guys because, again, I mean, I could sit here. I have a giant list already going. We would be here for probably another hour if I shared all this with you. So I'm going to work on that, and I will see how I can get you guys access to that. And then we'll go from there. You're welcome, Kelly. And if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. So I spent this whole 30 minutes talking about content on LinkedIn because someone told me last week, let's talk about what types of content to post. And that is what I did. So anytime you guys want me to talk about something in particular when it comes to building your thought leadership, your branding, or leveraging LinkedIn, let me know. Either send me a message on LinkedIn, comment now on the LinkedIn post, or if you're on Facebook, comment there. And then I will do what I can to help you guys out. Okay? So I'm going to make sure that I have everything here. I think I answered all of your guys' questions for now. And thank you guys, as always, for joining me. And like I said, we will be drawing for the winner of the mini LinkedIn makeover next Thursday. I guess I could do that live with you guys too. I could comment, or I could draw. I don't know how to see the comments on this side of things. I'm trying to look. And then as long as you comment, you guys will be entered to win a mini LinkedIn makeover. And so I am just making sure that I have everything here from you guys. And then we will call it a Thursday. Call it a day. And I will leave you guys with that so you can get back to work. And again, if there's anything else I can do, let me know. Laura says, I don't watch videos, they take too long. Beware if you put the face of your business as someone else's face as they leave and they're taking the face of your business with them. Very good tip, Laura. So going back to what you asked, Adrian, Laura has a good point. If you put someone else as the face of your business and they leave, then what do you do? Right? So you really need to think about that if you're a small business owner. Now, if you're in a partnership with someone, that might be easier. But Laura has a good point of, if you aren't comfortable with being the face of your business to build your thought leadership and you want someone else on your team to do that, just think about what happens when they leave. Thanks for bringing that up, Laura. You're awesome. Okay. So I hope you are still on to hear that, Adrian. I recommend that, if you are the business owner, that you should be the face of the company, really, because it's your business and it's your baby and your passion is going to come through more so than anyone else because it's your business. So, and that goes for executives. We work with executives and business owners, and, it's that passion that comes out that makes you the thought leader, that helps make you the thought leader, because people can see that when they hear you and when they read your content. They can pick up on that energy and the passion that lies within what you're talking about and how you help people. So that's why I feel like it's so important for business owners to be the face of their own company, especially when building their thought leadership. My 2 cents. Laura has a good point there. Okay. All right. Oh, one more question. Alan, how are you, Alan? Alan says, how do you feel about humorous articles? Oh, I'm all for humor. I love to laugh. If you guys can probably tell, I laugh on these frequently at myself. So yes, I think humorous articles are great, Alan. That goes back to what I say about diversifying content. So anytime you guys can evoke different types of emotions, I am all for it. So getting, sharing that personal content, sharing a story, sharing, something where people have aha moments, sharing something that makes people laugh. I love it, Alan. So if you're funny and you want to use your humor to drum up awareness and engagement, by all means, go for it. As long as you're diversifying your content and you have a mix of valuable articles and posts for people where they can learn and then you're mixing it in with other things like humor, I think that's amazing. We are talking to a company who has like a newsletter where they share something completely unrelated, like drink recipes every Friday, and those posts do way better than any others. And that's just, again, showing something completely different that is outside of business that's fun. And that's what people like. And that's what makes you stand out. And that's what makes the human side of your brand come to life, is sharing stuff like that. So Alan, I'm all for the humor. Go for it. All right, so my outro was like 6 minutes long. So I will let you guys go now and get back to your Thursday. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I am seriously funny, Alan says. I believe you. So go for it. Start writing some seriously funny stuff. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me, as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. All right? See you guys.